Alright folks, so this time I have something very cool to show you. It's my DIY Midi controller. I made this with Arduino. I put it on my rack. This is how it looks like. You could do it other ways too. What we have is 6 knobs. We got 6 switches, and then we got a toggle switch that changes the Midi channel these are sending data on. And we're just gonna get right into it. I'll show you what it does inside my DAW. So let's take a listen to the track and pay attention to the controls on the plugins. Here we go. So there we go. As we can see, I can control these plugins individually with this controller. Everything's already mapped, but I'll show you how we do that in Studio One. So yeah, this is, I'll say, a really awesome, just really awesome. And yeah, one thing I intend to do is to make the files and the instructions available to everyone on my coffee shop at some point. Not for free, but it's not going to be expensive. You could basically build a unit like this then for yourself for around, I'll say 40-50 euros between that. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. So first of all, on the drums we had the API compressor. So then when I go here, you can see the threshold is moving, but any of the other plugins are not moving. So I have the Leonardo chosen over there. And then when we go to track 2, we're gonna be moving the input of the CLA 76, but these plugins, the controls are not moving. So the only thing about this is the software. So Studio One doesn't have this thing called soft control. So, and that's why we can see these. So let's go into this one and check the release. So our knob is here, but on the software, on the plugin, it's pointing that way. So now when I turn it, it jumps to the place that this knob was. So if we had a soft takeover in Studio One, we would have had to turn the knob all the way there before it started doing any changes on the plugin. So that's a feature I would love to see on Studio One. And I would actually update my Studio One. I'm still using 6, and I'm just gonna say, Presonus, get your shit together. But alright, let's get into it. So I'm gonna put these away. We're gonna click on an effect here, and I'm gonna first show what I mean. So we don't have any effects here, but I'm gonna take an Arturia plate here and let's put it on the guitar track. I'll just drag it on the send, and here we go. It opens up. Yeah, let's drag here. Make it a little bit smaller. So now this controller, I've already mapped it up to the rev plate. Let's mute the drums and the bass. Let's put that on. Even the high pass or the power can be mapped. And we can see the LEDs lighting up too. And this one has the advanced window. So on there, we got stuff mapped too. And as we can see, we actually have also this feedback with the, so if I click that on, and now this switch, the LED isn't on, well, I'll have to click it again, and then it will change the state of that. All right. So yeah, everything, I can map everything to this. I can have them, I can have my plugins in Studio One, this works. I can have my plugins already saved as a preset like this. So all I have to do is drag them on my track, and this controller is already mapped on those. And then let's take a quick look. So as we can see, this controls the drive, but then when I flip this switch, I change the Midi channel, and that's when we can see the pre-delay there moving. So now this button controls the top bottom row of controls on this plugin, as we can see. So essentially everything that has like 12 knobs, pots now, knobs on it, I can map this into it. All right. So let's take a look at how you set this up and how you save. So this is also going to be a tutorial about how to do this in Studio One. So let's take something that's not mapped yet. Let's pick something cool with knobs. Let's take it universal audio. Limiting amplifier 1176 here. All right, this isn't mapped. So first of all, when we set up our MIDI control, let's actually take a look at that. So we go to Studio One and we click Options. And I've already set mine up, but as we can see, we got a Leonardo here. But what you would do if you don't see your device, which of course you want, you would go Add. You would click New Control Surface. In this case, this isn't sending notes, it's sending CC. Then you would name it and receive from your chosen device. In this case, the Arduino Leonardo. And then we would hit OK, and it would appear here on this list. And it would look like this. And you can give it your own name if you want on that field. So that's how you would set that up. And then you hit OK. After that, when you select a plugin, drag it on here, well, we can see the panel on the top left corner. So we can see the Leonardo there when we twist the knobs or push a button like that. So we could click there on the Leonardo, but usually I just go here. I choose the Leonardo, then I open up the little cogwheel, and then we get to see these here when you move the controls. And then we click on the Leonardo, and we should get a window, something like this. And I've already done the step, so everything is recognized, but let's do this from scratch. So let's pretend that my controller is not set up. So what you would really see is this empty window like this. What then you need to do, click Midi learn. Then you start doing this. And after that, so 6 of the first ones were the knobs. So right click on one of these, and I'm gonna switch these to buttons on and off. There we go. That's it. Simple and easy. And as we can see on there, now everything moves and works as it should. Alright, so our controller is set up, and now we can start the mapping. So how do you do that? Well, let's go here. We want to map the input. We click on the input. We can see that changed over there. So the input is now what's being selected, and then we twist the knob on our controller or whatever we want to map into the input. So now we see input and control 1 on Leonardo. And then there's this little triangle. We click that. And our input starts moving. Then we do the same. We go here, click on the output and turn the control. Now our output is also mapped. Then we go into the attack, turn this, release, turn our knob, ratio, turn our knob. Let's control that too. There we go. So now our plugin. Oh, I made a mistake there. So if you do that, you just click on that again, turn the knob, take it off from the attack, click on the release, Control 4, it goes there. There we go. Now everything's working as it should, right? And that's it. Then what you want to do is go here, that little file image, update preset. So now it should be the default. Let's see if it is. So let's click this off and take another one of these from here. And let's drag it onto a new track. And there we go. As we can see, it is already mapped into our unit. And this works, let me show you. So it's, if we take a whole new song, so there we go. That's how damn amazing this thing is. And then you can get rid of on here of the default. There we go. Delete this preset because, well, we don't need it. It's gonna be. It just creates that, and you can get rid of it. All right. So I think I'm pretty proud of myself. This is one of my, I think, best DIY achievements so far. Let's see, CLI 3A. Do I have this mapped already? Oh yeah, I do. So there we go. Yeah. So yeah, and what I intend to do with this thing is I'm gonna work on doing a tutorial on how to make this thing. Also, the files with the code. So yeah, then when I got the files, the tutorial videos and everything ready for anyone who wants to build one of their own, I intend to put it on my coffee shop available. I'm not sure about the price yet, but it's not going to be expensive. The Arduinos are 20 from the official Arduino shop. Then the knobs, the buttons, and the wire, these are like 50 cents a piece. So then the knob, so it's €6, and then another €6. Depending, these buttons are actually much cheaper, so you can probably get them for under €2. So let's say that's 6, 8, the Arduino displayed. You can probably build the whole thing for like 40 euros. So then if I charge for the files and the tutorial videos on how to make this, I think that's not expensive for something that can do everything I just showed you on this. I haven't had any connection issues. I did in the beginning. I did a lot of work to get the code right and working as how I wanted to, and this is what I ended up with. There's a few things I might still improve or change, mainly the hardware. As I said, these buttons are just much more nicer, but the Arduino still has a few pins that I haven't used, I think, so I can hook something up still. And then at some point I might actually order myself a Teensy development board. And as I'm going to just show here what drives this thing. So then the Teensy would have more pins available. So in the end, on the Teensy, I would be able to hook much more stuff into it, and well, make a controller that has even more options. Let's see. I'm getting onto that probably at some point. But for now, this thing is just awesome, and I'm so happy with it, and I would like to share this with you in case you're interested in making your own. So let me know in the comments if you are, what do you think of it, and if you would have use for something like this on your studio. All right, I'm off. Have fun and rock on.